The mighty Thrumbo. Very little is actually known about these gorgeous, massive, mysterious beasts, but we may know a little bit more than you think. The anatomy of a Thrumbo. A gigantic, graceful creature of unknown origin, the Thrumbo is gentle by nature but extremely dangerous when enraged. While its long fur is exceptionally beautiful, its hide is also incredibly resistant to damage. Its razor-sharp horn fetches a huge price. Legends say that an old Thrumbo is the wisest creature in the universe. It simply chooses not to speak. This is the description provided to us by the official RimWorld wiki. Though these creatures are well known to all RimWorld players, they are still shrouded in mystery. Today I hope to educate myself as well as many of you on many of the things we do know about the Thrumbo. The RimWorld wiki, of course, has information about the diet of Thrumbos, stating the following. Thrumbos are both herbivorous, eating growing plants and harvested vegetables, and dendrivorous, eating live trees. Note that unlike the other dendrivore, the alpha beaver, Thrumbos will not eat anema or gorlin trees. I do find it quite interesting that Thrumbos choose not to eat anema trees or gorlin trees. This could attest to the myth that they are the wisest creatures in the universe, as they clearly must understand that these trees have symbiotic relationships with their planets and other organisms. Meaning, Thrumbos most likely have an extremely high intelligence and possess some form of morality. Now, a good example of this is the fact that the Thrumbo are one of, if not the strongest creatures in the universe, organically speaking, of course. Yet, even with that being the case, they only attack when provoked or when affected with diseases such as scaria. Scaria, of course, being a disease that affects the animal's brain and body, causing it to become a manhunter. It is also worth mentioning that the Thrumbo are actually able to bond to an extent with humans, so they must possess some type of advanced emotions, at the very least on par with that of a dog. It almost seems like an injustice comparing this beautiful, intelligent creature to a dog in terms of emotions, though, because of course a dog could not distinguish between a tree connected to a planet or organisms like a Thrumbo. Adding to their intelligence, in-game Thrumbos are also able to receive the highest levels of training possible for animals. Now, because they're so intelligent, you might guess that Thrumbos have a very large brain, and we could actually do a little bit of guesswork to find out how accurate that is. Now, in-game, Thrumbos are actually identical in size to elephants in terms of their mass. Of course, they do have a completely different shape and whatnot, and elephants originated on Earth, and we don't know where Thrumbos came from, but it would be safe to assume that they, at the very least, have a similar sized brain to elephants, which just so happens to weigh about 4,783 grams, or just over triple that of the average human brain. Of course, though, just like in the real world, the size of the animal's brain doesn't exactly determine its intelligence per se. Now that we've discussed the animal's brain size, its intelligence, and the possibility of it having some sense of morality, let's now move on to its fur. It is of course well known that Thrumbos are extremely tough creatures. This is due to several factors, but the most interesting of which is its gorgeous, dense, and durable fur. A good example of this is the insulation factor. A Thrumbo's fur is excellent for insulation, with them comfortable in temperatures between -85 degrees Fahrenheit up to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. No other creature in the RimWorld universe has fur quite this strong. The wiki even states, their fur is valuable, worth 1,000 silver, and protective. The duster alone is almost as protective as steel plate armor. Let that sink in for a moment. These creatures have fur that is comparable to steel plates. It's no wonder people are willing to pay such a pretty penny for some of their miraculous fur. Speaking of expensive organics on these large beasts, next up we have the horn, which is also worth 800 pieces of silver on its own. The horn is described as razor sharp and is comparable in strength to a steel longsword of excellent quality, essentially meaning the Thrumbo is a massive walking tank with a sword attached to its head. Which brings me to my next point, a Thrumbo's legs. The legs of a Thrumbo can and do carry its enormous body for miles on end with little to no rest, so it should come as no surprise that they are much faster than any normal colonist, almost an entire cell per minute than humans, as humans move at 4.6 cells per minute while Thrumbos move at 5.5. The legs are especially useful during times when they're rampaging through your colony, attempting to impale your people on their horn as well as stomp them to death. If, for example, your colonists were to take a Thrumbo leg to the chest, you might as well start digging a hole for them, because the average adult Thrumbo, as we talked about earlier, weighs around about 240 kilograms or 529 pounds. In real life, that would be comparable to a male grizzly bear kicking you in the chest. It is thanks to these very powerful legs that they are able to carry masses up to 300 kilograms. It is also thanks to their legs and their enormous size that they actually yield plenty of meat, up to 560 pieces of meat approximately. That would be enough meat for 112 simple meals in total. So if you don't have any colonists that are capable of taming a Thrumbo, maybe you can scrap up enough weapons to try and kill one, and that way you can eat for a very long time. Just beware of their horn and their legs. And also they're extremely intelligent, so you probably won't be able to outsmart them. But hey, like we talked about, they do seem to have some sense of morality, so maybe they'll take it easy on you. Or not. So, in conclusion, Thrumbos are extremely hyper-intelligent creatures that are about the same mass as your average elephant, meaning as well that their organs would be about roughly the same size as your average elephants as well. Just like an elephant though, you really wouldn't want to try to fistfight one of these big badass creatures, as they are extremely powerful and very, very strong. They do of course display some very advanced emotions and can bond with humans though, so if you are able to befriend one of these lovable giants, then I really highly recommend that you do so. Otherwise, maybe just try to stay out of their way. And the next time that you see a Thrumbo in RimWorld, just remember that these creatures have a lifespan of on average about 220 years. This creature was here long before you, and it will be here long after you are gone. And I mean, come on, the wiki literally says that they may be the wisest creatures in the universe once they reach a certain age. Look at you, you can't even figure out how to grow rice in your own colony. You don't stand a single chance. Some disclaimers here at the end before we end the video. I just want to mention there's a lot of things going on with Thrumbos that I actually didn't talk about. So there's a lot of different things with their attacking power and the different types of attacks that they can actually perform, and a whole bunch of other shit that I really didn't have time to delve into because I didn't want to put too much focus on this project in this video, unfortunately, because I know you guys really prefer episodes, my audience here. But if this video does really well and blows up, or not even blows up, if it just does really well and you guys want to see more of it, then I may try to do some more about Thrumbos. I may also try to do some more about different types of creatures in RimWorld, of course, as well. But I just want to mention, because of my sheer lack of time and devotion to all the facts about Thrumbos here, I try to get most of the important stuff out of the way, or at least what I found interesting and important, and that a lot of stuff, you know, of course, people might not know about the mighty Thrumbo as well. It was also a little bit hard trying to make comparisons to real life, because in-game there are certain animals like elephants that Thrumbos almost have identical stats to in terms of their weight and everything, but in real life an elephant would weigh much more than 240 kilograms, so you know, it was a little difficult trying to make those comparisons with the organs and whatnot of elephants, because obviously RimWorld doesn't give us any weights for their organs in particular. So, and of course, I am not a scientist, nor do I claim to be one. I am just a simple, humble rat. But I do hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Be sure to let me know if you'd like to see some more videos like this one about Thrumbos, or any other RimWorld creatures, or mechanoids, or just anything that really tickles your fancy. I love you guys ever so much, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.